We'll hear from Boone Pickens, who has a new idea about how to cut our dependence on foreign oil. With summer driving in full swing and all of us watching the price at the gas pump, we want to talk about what can be done to reduce our country's dependence on foreign oil. Joining us now is the man with a plan, legendary energy executive Boone Pickens. And Mr. Pickens, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks, Chris.
The last time that many of us heard from you about energy was 4 years ago when you were pushing a major national investment in wind power. Here's what you said then.
America's blessed with one of the best wind corridors in the world. Using private investment and technology that already exists, we can supply 20% of our electricity needs.
Now you're off wind power. What happened?
Price. Wind is priced off the margin. The margin's natural gas. When I made that ad, natural gas was $7. Today, natural gas is $2.50. You can't finance a wind deal unless you have $6 natural gas.
All right, and I just want to point out before we get to natural gas, which is the reason you're here, true that you lost $150 million promoting and investing in wind power?
Yes.
Does that hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
How could you ask a question like that?
Well, I guess it's a stupid
Sure,
question.
it was painful.
So now you're pushing natural gas. Why?
It's up every street and down every alley in the United States. It's the largest natural resource that we have, and we're now talking about exporting it out of the country. Use it here. Increase the demand for natural gas and use it here. Don't send our cheap, clean. It's 30% cleaner than diesel. So don't ship it out to China or wherever else and import dirty OPEC crude. I mean, we're going to go down as the dumbest generation in the world if we do that. I mean, we are fools if we do it because we have so much natural gas, it's unbelievable. But we also have a lot of oil too. We're increasing our oil in the United States, and that's all because the industry has done a fabulous job of developing techniques to recover both oil and gas.
All right, let's focus on the natural gas, though, which you're saying is cheaper, it's cleaner, and we don't have to ship trillions of dollars over to OPEC, to our enemies. Your idea is to convert this nation's 8 million heavy-duty trucks, the 18-wheelers, to natural gas. What does that mean for pollution, and what does that mean in terms of our dependence on foreign oil?
Okay, dependence on foreign oil first. There's 250 million vehicles in America. I just want 8 million. Give me the 8 million. What can I do for us? If I had the 8 million, that would be 3 million barrels of oil a day. We import 4.4 million barrels a day from OPEC. So we would cut OPEC by we could cut
60%.
A little more than 60, close to 70%. We could cut them with just the 8 million. That's it. I mean, it's like a freebie. It truly is. And the reason why it's moving in that direction. And that's what my opponents say. Well, you just let the free market take over and let it happen because natural gas is $1.50 to $2 a gallon cheaper than diesel. And I say, okay, if you want to do that, it's going to take you 8 to 10 years. If you want to go ahead and do something as far as legislation is concerned, you can do it in half that time.
Okay, well, let's get into that, because the biggest problem with natural gas is that we don't have the infrastructure for natural gas. You're going to have to convert all those heavy-duty trucks to be natural gas consumers. You got to put natural gas filling stations along the interstates all over the country that don't exist. Now, your answer that you were pushing in Congress, and one of the reasons you're here, is what you call the Natural Gas Act, which would give $3.8 billion in tax credits, see, I've done my research, to companies to build the infrastructure. You lost in the Senate.
I lost because the 18-wheelers were not germane to a highway bill, a transportation bill. 18-wheelers were not germane, so they were deemed non-germane, so I have to have 60 votes instead of 51. Any place but Washington, 51-47 wins. Okay, but not here. But when you say $3.8 billion, it had a pay for in it. It does not cost the taxpayers one penny. So who does it pay for? The people that are buying the fuel. It's like a toll road. If you use it, you pay for it. If you don't pay for it.
Let's go through some of the objections to your plan. You already brought up one. House Majority Leader, Republican, Eric Cantor says this would be another example of Washington picking winners and losers, giving this money to the natural gas industry. If it's so good, the private sector will find a way to pay for it.
Exactly. And that's going to happen. You can have it twice as fast and not have to pay anything. Now, Eric knows that. We've discussed it. But here, the people that are opposed to me are Koch Industries.
Now, we should say Koch Industries. That has nothing to do with Coca-Cola. That's the Koch brothers. And they're opposed to your using natural gas for transportation because?
They do not want to see the price of natural gas go up because they are in the fertilizer and chemical business. They also import 61,000 barrels of OPEC crude every day. And they're also the third largest on subsidy for ethanol. So everything I'm talking about is the Kochs do not like it.
And they would like to use the natural gas for their fertilizer and other things. And
Sure.
if you're spending it for trucks, for heavy-duty trucks, then it's going to raise the price for them.
Yes, exactly.
Another objection is that you get this huge surge of natural gas that we've been getting through, and we've got a little diagram here, animation, fracking, where drillers use a high-pressure mix of fluids to fracture energy-rich rocks, which lets the natural gas contained in those rocks escape. The concern is, the criticism is, that you also release toxic materials like benzene and that you endanger our water supply.
Give me some example of that happening. The largest aquifer in North America is the Ogallala. It extends from Midland, Texas to the South Dakota border across 8 states. There have been over 800,000 wells fractured in that area. Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, all of them. They manage the aquifer, no problem. I don't know of any case. I've fracked over 3,000 wells myself, and we've never damaged any aquifer or any water. See, aquifers occur almost always above 1,000 feet. Fresh water is above 1,000 feet down in the earth. And you are down 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 feet fracturing here.
So you're saying one thing isn't going to get into the other. Let me bring up the last objection. And
I want to talk about infrastructure too.
Okay. The recent drop in oil prices with the economic slowdown. Let's take a look at this. In April, gas was $3.88 a gallon. Now it's $3.48, and there are projections by the end of the year we could be under $3. I don't have to tell you, when the price of gas falls, so does the sense of crisis.
Sure, I mean, no question. That's good for our economy. That's great. But if you look back historically for 40 years, always when gasoline prices went up, the American people got upset, and politicians started to talk about doing something. We've never had an energy plan in this country in 40 years. The only time we talk about it is when gasoline prices are up. So they come down, quit talking about it. Why are we in the fix today where we import over 60% of our oil? Why are we in that spot today? Because of cheap gasoline. That's exactly why we're there. If we had expensive gasoline, we would have figured this out and gotten on our own resources. But let me tell you, I'm in touch with a lot of people. And when I started that plan 4 years ago, it'll be 4 years, July the 8th, I started that. I have 1,700,000 people signed up with me. I've made hundreds of speeches across the United States. I've done 50 town halls across the United States, and I am in touch with the grassroots on energy.
Let me, because now we're getting to politics. We've got a couple of minutes left. You supported John McCain 4 years ago. You say that you have never voted for a Democrat for president in your life. Are you impressed with either President Obama or Governor Romney when it comes to their plans for energy?
Well, if you look at Obama, when he received the nomination in 08, Denver, he said in 10 years, we will not import any oil from the Mideast. Never again has he mentioned that. I don't know whether he had a plan or he doesn't have a plan. But now is the time to show up with a plan. Now, if you look at Romney, Romney has the kind the skeleton of a plan. But I haven't heard his plan yet either. But this is an opportunity for us to rebuild our economy off the back of cheap energy. We have the cheapest energy in the world in the United States. We're 15% less on oil costs. We are a fraction on natural gas, and we're half of gasoline.
Finally, do you intend to get involved in the presidential race this year?
You mean run?
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people listening to you right here who would say, that's what we need, but are you going to support one of these two guys?
I will. I will support the one that has the energy plan for America.
Are you saying then that you're not going to be a sure Republican vote?
Well, I think that Romney will show up with the plan, is what I think. Because I've seen Obama, I've heard what he says, but he never has a plan. He's never come forth with a plan for energy for America.
Mr. Pickens, we're going to have to leave it there. I want to thank you for coming in today. Always
Sure.
a pleasure to talk with you, sir.
Thank you.
And if you decide to run, you're welcome here anytime.
I'm going to come to you first.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir.